Hi friends, welcome to my channel. Let's have a look at problem 542, 01 matrix. In this video, we're going to share a solution based on the multi-source breadth-first search method. So this problem asks us to return the distance of the nearest zero cell for each cell. The distance between two adjacent cells is 1. So here are two examples. So in these two examples, so the return is the same size as the matrix. So for example, in example 1, so the return is 3 by 3, and all the zero cells corresponding to return element 0, because zero cell is the nearest zero cell to itself is itself. So this one is next to a zero cell, so the corresponding return ingredient is 1. So similarly, we can analyze example 2. So in this problem, there are some additional constraints or assumptions. So the total number of cells is bounded in between 1 and 10 to the power 4. And there is at least 1 0 in the matrix. So the last item actually is a consistency assumption. So with that said, let's look at the solution or method here. So we're going to use multi-source breadth-first search. So here, if you have followed my video or playlist, so you should have noticed that we have practiced a number of such problems using multi-source breadth-first search. So what's special in this problem? So here it's multi-source and the sources are the zero cells. And secondly, the distance. So from the second paragraph in the main statement, actually the induced distance is nothing but the so-called Manhattan distance or L1 distance in mathematics. So with these 2 points realized, so actually the idea for a solution is very straightforward. So if a cell is a zero cell, then we're going to return 0 for this position, because certainly the distance of the nearest zero to this zero cell is itself. And to find distances for 1 cells, we just do multi-source breadth-first search from 0 cells. With that said, so here are some treatment choices. So to do breadth-first search, we need a queue container. So what the queue shall contain or store in the implementation. So here for this problem, actually there are 2 choices. So either we store RC distance, in other words, the coordinates and the desired distance information. So in the queue initialization for 0 cells, we're going to store RC0. So this is natural. Or we just store positions and use result format to help the traversal. So the plan for this problem is we're going to stick to the second choice. The reason is that for the first choice, we have practiced a number of times. So with that said, let's look at the code. So I'm going to split the code into 3 parts. So the first part is some preparation and initialization for the output format or the return format. So for this, I'm going to track the information for the number of rows and number of columns. So notice that I have changed the argument name to capital M for convenience. So the result will be a same size as the matrix itself. So we're going to use something like this, -1 times m for a dummy index in range m. So that's it for the preparation. Now let's look at the initialization of queue. So for this, I'm going to initialize a deck to mimic the behavior of a queue. So we're going to traverse the matrix capital M to find those cells, those 0 cells. So for I in range M, for G in range M. Then we're going to check if capital M IG is 0 cell. If so, we're going to set the corresponding result to be 0, and also we're going to enqueue this position. So that's the second step for the initialization of the queue. Next, we're going to do the multi-source breadth-first search. So here, the reason we do breadth-first search because it's essentially shortest distance, right? So for this, this is actually a while loop. So we're going to first find the coordinates we're going to look at. That is Q pop left. So if we use this stack, so this stack has a method called pop left. So this mimics the behavior of the queue because we are going to in-queue from the tail for efficiency. So if we use vanilla list, then we're going to use pop 0 here. And with that said, let's look at the neighbors. So we're going to look at, first we'll look at the 4 directions. Let's see, for x, y, in. So -1, 0, and +1, 0, 0, -1, and 0, +1. Then what we're going to check is the position a plus x, b plus y. So we want to check if this new position is inbound and is not visited. So we're going to check a plus x is inbound and 0 less or equal than b plus y less than n, and b plus y is also inbound, and so this new position is not visited, which corresponds to this information, a plus x, b plus y is still -1, right? In other words, not modified yet. So if this is the case, we're going to update the position result for this position. So that is our result a, b plus 1. So we can sort of interpret AB is a parent or the root of a plus x, b plus y, so to speak. And also we're going to in-queue this position a plus x, b plus y to the queue. So that's the main loop. After we finish this main loop, the result is actually well prepared. Then we're going to return the final state of the result list. So it's a two-dimensional list. It's actually a matrix. So with that said, I guess we are ready to do some special case check. So let's do submit, or we directly submit. That's okay. So yeah, it's accepted. So actually the Leetcode changes its interface. So this is the first time I use this new interface to do some presentations. So I tried several times. So it's runtime errors with the correct solution. So I guess with that said, that's about it for this problem. So you are welcome to check out other videos in my channel for similar methods or for similar problems. Thank you so much.